Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the T34. I'll just keep always putting the box sleeve up just to show you, because you know me, half the time I forget half of what I'm trying to tell you. So there we go, that's what Gav's building. Zvezda 1:35 scale T34 stroke 85. So the T34 with the larger gun. I'm not a big lover of T34s particularly. My mate Greg Reilly, who's hosting this group build, and I should have said that, this is for the group build on the T34 that's being hosted by Greg Reilly. He's mad keen on the T34. I recognise it for the design that it is and what it brought to the table back in the early days of the Second World War. But as tanks go, we all have our little favourites, you know, and I can't really say the T34 is one of mine. But when your Mara sends you a link saying, look at this kit, it's really cheap, but I don't want to build a T34, but you'll like this one. Here we are, we're building T34. Mine, I keep saying this because sometimes people won't see videos I've done previously. This is going to be my rendition of a Croatian T34 in the Yugoslav civil wars of the early 90s. It's not based on a single T34. It's a hodgepodge of T34s and T55s, Shermans, Hellcats and M10 tank destroyers that the different factions in that civil war used. And they would often throw a load of homemade armour on. It could be coated in spare tyres, it could be sheets of rubber, the usual sandbags, you name it, they put it on to try and give the tanks a bit of protection. They even put, I believe it was a Serbs, I don't know about the other faction, I'm calling them factions, but you know, as I say, although I'm building the Croatian one, I'm backing nobody's civil war. This is just me building a tank, and I just found it interesting. But they even put them, I've seen Hellcats and T34s and that put on the front of trains, armoured trains. Literally, it's like it's going back to the Second World War and the First World War. And they literally stick one on the front, one on the back, maybe one in the middle, build an armoured little. So I mean, it's call them armoured. I doubt very much whether it was armour. It was more like just thick steel, but. And they'd build literally a little bunker around it and just have the turret, a bit like, you know, you'd see German or Russian armoured trains. Anyway, I'm going off topic again because mine's nothing like that, but it will be coated in different homemade armour anyway. So we've got through the building stage. I've put some extra texture on to put like that not rolled, but you know, the look of steel that you see on tanks. Usually the turret casting is a lot more rougher than the actual texture on the rest of the tank. I've been using the old-fashioned method, I presume, as I'm looking over, I can't find it now, but Mr. Surfacer 500, dabbed on neat. Sorry, I keep getting a twitchy nose because I've got lacquer in the room still. I've got to give bits of sand down. Fighting, trying to stop sneezing here. I've got to give bits of sand down. Yes, I had to sneeze. I've had the windows open and everything. I stopped spraying about an hour and a half ago. Right, I've got to give some bits of sand down where we've had some air bubbles and things like that, but nothing massive. A lot of it's going to be obliterated in different types of coverings anyway, but you don't know where those coverings are going to show stuff, so not at the moment, because I have no game plan with this. It's get to this stage and then start working out how I'm going to put it on, because as I've said to you guys before, sometimes it was as simple as tying bits of rubber and tyres and wheel rims to the old handguard, the railings that they used to put around these type of tanks, because they used to carry tank riders, and it was so that the infantry could hold on to something. But they just literally get some polypropylene rope or wire and just tie them on. And then others have had proper frames made either welded directly to the side skirts and bits of hull, and others have had literally wood frames that's been bolted or just tack welded, you know, to the sides again. So I'm not going to go to the extent, as I have seen some of them, where they've literally covered the entire tank, and the only thing that's you've got your viewing ports, the gun, and where the driver can see, and the exhaust, and that's about it. Because then it is just you know, a block of fake rubber. I'm following a build that somebody put in the or one of the builders did in the AK T35 book. Highly recommended book, that. They did their rubberized sheets out of styrene sheet, and they just kept rolling it until they got the desired effect. And I'm going to go with that because it would help with the gluing and, you know, the attaching. But what I'm going to do, from what I've seen of theirs, they put everything on, then prime the tank. Well, to me, there's loads of nooks and crannies you're never going to get into. And I'm only a noob at this, you know. I'm a returning modeller and I've been doing it a couple of years. So I'm going to actually paint. The next stage you'll see once I've shown you this video. The next video will be the tanks actually painted. Hopefully, I would have built a lot of the add-on armour separately and either painted that or at least shown you it, and then I'm going to attach the add-on armour. Now that might be messy, but I just think that will work a heck of a lot better than trying to, how the hell I would get in behind the bits and pieces and the nooks and crannies. I don't know. So I think it's just better if I paint the tank first and then add the armour on secondly, and the stowage, because they always had loads of stowage, although that was more on like the more slab-sided T55s, you know, the bigger decks and that. Obviously this is a smaller tank. So join me at the bench. I know I've talked more than I'm going to show you, but hey, it's a Gav video. Join me at the bench and we'll have a quick look. Right guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. As I say, I'm going to be making lots of add-ons, but as far as I'm aware, there'll be no extras in the sense of PE or you know, anything of that description. You know, it's just going to be what I can scrounge out the spares bins and make myself. But there is one add-on, which is the metal barrel. Now the plastic barrel, it wasn't. It's a round. You know, you don't have to put two halves together. So apart from the big sprue points that you'd have had to clean off, which I'd started doing, it was perfectly serviceable. Those are, you know, you get a little bit to put on at the end. This is a metal barrel. It was given to me by my good marrow Greg Reilly, and I appreciate that, Greg. Thank you very much. Ian Aitken, who's also in the build, he'd been saying how he'd heard that the barrel, he'd bought one of these barrels. I can't remember if it's from RB Barrels or not, but it was shorter, so I put mine up against my plastic one, because he then went out and got a different type which was a bit bigger. And this metal barrel is probably 5 to 6 mil shorter than the kit one. But to be fair, I mean, you look at it and, you know, that's good enough for me. I don't think unless you're really into T34s and build a lot of them, like Greg Reilly, you know, you military model Paul for that matter, you know, you're not going to really rob from Rims models as well. You know, but unless you're really in the know, you're not going to know, are you? So, you know, 5-6 mil shorter. I don't think that's going to be too much of a bother. So it's, as you can see here, there are some bits that's going to need a quick sand, and they literally come. Hang on a second. Let's move that round. There we go. Let's get in there, Gav. So we can see here. There's bits here that'll need a. Here we go. Trying to find it through the viewer. They'll just need a quick sand down. That's part of the stowage. That's where the saw will go. I'm going to leave this fairly rough, apart from the odd bobble hole, because they were really rough. So even the bobble holes I might leave on by the time they've had some paint. As you can see better now where I've put dings in the fuel tanks. Again, just gouged it with my scalpel and put a bit of a sand just to smooth them very slightly so they're not too jagged. Got a bit of texture here, but underneath I've left, I feel a bit bad actually because I don't like being lazy at stuff. I like to, even if you guys can't see it, I know it's there and it's bugging me that I'm not doing that. But I'm going to be having side skirts, you know, it's either going to be, because this is quite thin here, like the real tank, I'm probably going to be going for putting some bolsters down the side that they've welded on, and then attaching your rubber skirts down and very slightly higher. So a lot of this is going to be, you will just never ever see any of that. So I just thought, no, I'm not doing it on this one. But it does bug me a bit because I don't like you know, getting too lazy with stuff. I've put all that in there, just sprue, as you can see. The only thing again I never thought of was putting it in and actually spraying the inside of the turret, the two halves, before I put them together. So now I'm going to have to try and squirt black down there. There will be a couple of figures. I'm in an R-ing whether to put figures on this, because I don't want to do every build that I do put figures on. I can't afford it, keep buying figures, and also the time, to be honest with you. Not that I'm in a rush to do these things, but with the open turrets, you know, you're going to look straight down. Then again, I keep saying to myself, well, Gav, it's not going to a model show at the end of the day, you know. And eventually, again, like all of these, I can't keep them, so I'll detach the metal barrel and any bits that I think I can salve worth salving, and it'll go in the bin, which is a shame. But the light I can't show you, but I will have prepared as always. I've actually put in, it's covered over at the moment, now I've actually got myself, I'd seen, I think it was Greg from Greg's Models had done it on an aeroplane, and he'd used these type of things, these jewels, which is what I've used. Now you pop one of those behind your lights lens, and it gives you that extra glow, and it really does look like a bulb is in there. It's really good actually. I've got some of these others because I was never sure what was what, so I've got. Now don't go putting a love heart in there, right? Because that don't work. I've tried it. Just use those type of things, but they are cracking for you know, for like little bulbs. I really recommend that. I was really proud of that little thing, and I was going to show you, and of course I remembered I had to put some of that masking stuff on, which didn't go down particularly well. But yeah, so I've got to put a bit. I'm going to put a bit of lead wire into the light and behind. So again, we can see in there. Well, I'm gonna. I think I've got the Middle East, the plastic Middle East. Not ICM, mini art figures. I think they are tankers. So they've got the Soviet Eastern Bloc type of tank helmets. But again, it's casual poses, and I think one's crouching, and I'm trying to have him crouching in the front here so you don't actually see a lot. I've left the machine gun on in the end because I have seen T34s still with the machine guns, so I just left it on in the end. That, I don't know if I've done it wrong. When I see, blooming, look at that. Amazing, but that's what primer's for. Looks like I'm gonna have to sort that mould line out there as well. But yeah, that stuck way out too far. I've cut it and pushed it back. It's probably too far in now, but it is what it is, as they say. Again, we've got a bit extra rough there. I might take that down a bit, and you can see these bits of popped holes there which I didn't blow out. But yeah, fume extractors here. Not too bad, the cast on that. And as I say, all this, the majority of this is going to be all covered up around here anyway. And one other thing, just to show you you watch, I'll pick this one up, and done the wheels. You can see the bits I've chobbled out there to show wear in the rubber, because these were quite decrepit before they were used for the Civil War. Little wrinkle for that is as well, if you want to make them look even more authentic, a lot of the times they were using I don't know enough about T34s, I just know that they have different wheel rims, and I've seen a fair few T34s with different in the Yugoslav Civil War with where they've just stuck any wheel on just because it happened to be at hand, and you'll find tanks with, you know, 3 of one and 2 of the other, or just one different one mixed up amongst them. So if you wanted to do this type of tank, that's a little wrinkle you might. I mean, I haven't. I've all got the same here, but yeah. Oh, and the tow cables. These are supposed to be going on if I can fit them in straight, I believe. So, or around the corner or something like that. If they survive bending, I'll keep them. Otherwise, I'll cut these ends off and put some copper wire that I'll twirl round. But we'll see. So yeah, that's it. That's our T34 85 for Yugoslavia in 1991, whenever. It's coming along fairly well. As I say, we've got a few bits of cleanup which I'm going to do right after this video, like that mould line and bits just to get it all ready for a paint. I probably won't paint it now until probably Tuesday or Wednesday. But it'll be ready then. She'll all be ready to once she's painted up. And in the meantime, I'm like tomorrow night, I'll try and start working out how I'm going to be looking at attaching these side skirts. I've got a feeling I'm going to be doing sandbags along here, just literally thrown on and maybe tied onto these bars here, and I'm gonna have some form of bolster, probably metal, because I'm thinking on such a thin mudguard like that, they more than likely would have got a welder and welded just some bits of metal, any type of metal, angle, flat, whatever, box, and just then obviously bolted, put some big washers and bolted the rubber side skirts, which comes off conveyor belts and things like that, down, which would give it a bit of protection above and obviously the protection down below. And then at the front, as I say, I've seen some where they're almost just draped over, higgledy-piggledy. I don't think I'll do that. I probably will make again some bolster of some description, at least down the front, and have some rubber down the front and over the track compartment, leaving the hatch obviously free and the machine gun free. And then the sides, I'm yet debating whether I put plastic rubber sheet around that or not. That'll be harder to do obviously with getting it to conform. I might put it in parts and just put a couple of wheels. I've got a couple of wheels spare. I might do that. We'll see. So guys, thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. I hope everything's going well with your own projects. I've been seeing some cracking work out there, from whether it's from guys like myself that are really just learning the game, to people that are top table type modelers. There's some cracking stuff going on. As I say, there is a Facebook group, well, it's not a group, it's a Facebook page for this group build that Greg's running. I've been posting the odd picture up there. A couple of the other lads that I don't know on my channel, they've been putting some pictures up there. Obviously Greg and Paul do. Steve Jones has been, and Ian Aitken has been as well. So you might just want to pop over to the T34 Group Build. I think it's just T34 GB page. But go and take a look. Right guys, next time you see her, hopefully she'll be green of some description, and I might be able to show you a bit of the extra work. If not, at least she'll be green. Look after yourselves, and we'll speak very, very soon.